Which Way on a Dark Night has been a project that's been on my mind for an extremely long time. The original idea sparked way back in 2016, where I was doing some volunteer work for a local radio studio at the time. During that October, me and my brother had an idea where for the radio station's Facebook page, where they could post a series of different images of monster pictures, where the monsters would be scattered all over Somerset, where the radio station is located. We also made the choice of the monsters being apples, mainly because in Somerset, cider is probably what we're best known for, and cider of course being made out of apples. People would then have to guess as to where exactly these monster apples were located at around Somerset, and if they could guess all the answers correctly, then they would win some sort of prize. I really enjoyed designing the monster apples. It was fun in trying to make them look like other movie and literature monsters, such as Wolfman, Frankenstein and Dracula, and countless other ones. A fun challenge on trying to add on enough elements onto the apples so people could recognise as to which kind of monster each apple was supposed to be. My favourite one is Frankenstein with the light bulbs instead of the classic bolts. A year later, I redesigned 3 of the monster apples of that year's Halloween, but the radio station wasn't too interested at the time into redoing a similar competition. I was then thinking about another idea for what else I could do for the monster apples. I then began thinking about doing some sort of animation with the monster apples, but then I had a brainstorm of an idea, something that would rejuvenate the concept of the monster apples. Instead of an animation, it would be an interactive animation, where viewers would first watch an animation describing the history of the monster apples, then being trapped with them, and at the end of the video would have to make a choice as to which direction to go to get away from them, left or right, unlocking a whole maze of alternate and different endings, some good, some bad. Me and my brother played on the idea of perhaps making it into a 360 degrees film as well, making it virtual reality. But as I was beginning to do test animations with the concept, I couldn't get the virtual reality to work, and trying to contact the original radio station that I got involved with the idea proved to be quite difficult, as I couldn't quite get through. Eventually, I gave up on the whole concept. But then it wasn't until Halloween was just around the corner that I began to rethink about the project. And then I decided if the radio station wasn't going to do it, then I would do it myself. But I didn't have a lot of time left to do it, so I had to get cracking on it. Initially, I was intending to do stop motion to create the monster apples, but then once I came up with the idea of giving the monster apples bodies to make them seem far more intimidating to the audience, I just realised that with the amount of short time I had left to do it, that it wasn't going to be achievable to do it to build and create a physical animation puppet, so I switched back into just making it into a straight cartoon. I also decided to use live action actors, just asking my college mates if they wanted to be in it. By filming the humans in live action, it saved so much time that it would have taken me into animating them, but in the end, with the short amount of time, we only were able to shoot about 2 endings towards the film. The cartoon animation this time round, unlike my last animation project, where it was hand-drawn, with each frame being redrawn and being unique and original for its own, I didn't have time to apply that same animation technique, so instead it was a series of flat images laid on top of each other and that they were shifted and moved around, very similar to Flash animation and very similar to some of my older animation works. Although this time round, with the previous knowledge that I gained from my last animation, where a certain amount of movements would happen in a particular number of frames, making something look a little bit more cleaner and restrained. For Frankenstein's eyes and mouth was the only element throughout the whole cartoon that was actually created through hand-drawn animation. Now there were so many ideas for monsters and endings that I really wanted to do, but because of this tight schedule, I only had time to do about 2 endings. And I also wanted to add a prologue at the beginning explaining the monster apples, but yet again, I just didn't have time. Now finally, on the release date that I was intending to release all these episodes, on the night of Halloween. But even then, on the very day, I was still editing the videos, frantically rushing, trying to take every single shortcut of editing I knew of, just to coincide with the Halloween night. And just through the skin of my teeth, I finally finished it. All the parts were uploaded on YouTube on Halloween night. Of course, I would love more time to not only polish up these 3 videos I uploaded, but also do more Monster Apples. What the heck? Even the 3 videos I've uploaded, they don't have any sound effects to them. But I'm at least glad that my idea has finally gone out there, and I at least do hope that I can get people's input into what they think about of these type of videos for YouTube, and hopefully I can create a better version next year. But are any of these videos I've made this year any good? Well, I'll let you lot be the judge of that. Until next year, let's say goodbye to the monster apples.